Hi, my name is Erickson, and I've been going to Lakeside since spring of 2011. Grew up in Polk City and went to church here locally as a young kid. And when I was 10 years old, I was baptized, and I was active in youth group. I was taught after I was baptized that I was good with God. So as long as you're baptized, it doesn't really matter what you do. You're okay because you've been baptized. And I kind of lived my teenage years like that. I wasn't the greatest teenager. I did get into a lot of trouble and that kind of thing. Went from going to church to only going on Christmas and Easter to really never going to church at all anymore. I was married at a fairly young age. We had 3 kids together and didn't raise our kids really with any worship of God at all. That marriage ended in a divorce in 2003. It was kind of a low point in my life. It wasn't something that I wanted to go through, and it wasn't something I would certainly wish on anybody. But a few years later, in 2006, I married my wife, Danielle. And one of the things that she mentioned right away was that she wanted to go to church, or she wanted to find a church. I remember asking her, why would you want to do that? I've been baptized. I've read the Bible. If you have any questions, by all means, ask me. I can let you know. Danielle was going through a very difficult time emotionally, and had a lot of anxiety and depression, to the point where it was almost a breakdown. And it was one weekend specifically, I was scheduled to go to Iowa City for a football clinic. I knew that my wife was upstairs suffering, but I didn't really care, because I was thinking about myself and that I was going to go to this football clinic. And I had my bags packed, and I was sitting on the front porch waiting to be picked up. And I think it was then that God first started to work within me, because it was like he just laid a blanket over me and really made me think, what am I doing? I decided I needed to stay. The next day, it was Saturday, she told me that she's going to church on Sunday. She's going to go to Lakeside. I didn't have to go if I didn't want to, but she was going to go. So we went. God gives you what you need to hear at exactly the time that you need to hear it. And we left church that day, and I remember looking at Danielle saying, we're coming back next Sunday, right? It was like God flipped a switch, and it made me understand what his word was about, and literally gave me a path to choose. It really felt like you can continue with what you want to do and live for the world, or you can take this path that ends in Jesus Christ. The realization that the Bible isn't just a cool nonfiction book. It's not just a book written by a bunch of guys. It's the realization that these words are breathed out by God. Those are God's words that he purposefully placed there. It's hard to have that realization and not want to follow God's word and do the things that will get you closer to God and further in your journey. I was a sinner then, and I'm certainly a sinner now. I still make some really silly decisions in my life, but I'm not the same person that I was 4 years ago. If you live for the world, somebody can take something away from you, and that's bad. And you would see it that way, but with Christ, I would gladly give it. You can have it.